What's up, Dream Builder? Are you someone who's interested in creating a life by your design through all things real estate? Well, I can assure you, you are in the right place. Join me, your host, Casanova Brooks. I'm an award-winning real estate agent and investor as we uncover the top tips, strategies, and the mindset of the top real estate entrepreneurs across the world. Stay locked in because we're about to go on a journey that will change your life. What's up, Dream Nation? We are back again, and we have an episode that I'm telling you, this is going to impact, this is going to inspire, and this is going to give you every nugget you need to make 2021 the best life for you. So without further ado, my brother needs no introduction. Give it up for Mr. GC, Grant Cardone. You want to say what's up to Dream Nation?
What's up, Dream Nation? Hey, so good to be with you, Casanova. Love your story. And if your audience is anything like you, you got a bunch of winners and champions.
Man, it's going to be such an honor. And so the way I always love to start off these episodes is I compare us as entrepreneurs, thought leaders, change makers, which you've been a pioneer for many years, to superheroes. Reason being is because we're constantly flying around the world. We're putting on our cape and we're trying to solve some of the world's best problems. And so my question to you is, we all know who Superman is, and he wears that S on the chest, just like a lot of people know who Grant Cardone is. But behind the scenes, you have that Clark Kent. So my question to you is, behind the scenes, who is that Clark Kent for Grant Cardone?
Yeah, so, man, I mean, like you, my struggle's been, you got an unbelievable story. Like, your story is ridiculous. The amount of things that you have overcome. And, I don't know that I could have done all that, man, to tell you the truth. I thought my story was rough, but you have really, I don't know what your attraction is. You must be like, you got this thing where you got to validate that you can do anything. You're like the do it anything man. I think we're all superheroes. I've always watched the superheroes and the Superman, the gangsters, the Godfather. I grew up in a time where gangster movies were on TV all the time. Like that was, my dad died, and literally every weekend, all my brother and I did was watch gangster movies. And those became my heroes. And then James Bond, I remember seeing James Bond in a movie, and I'm like, I want to be that guy. Like these were all mentors of mine, right? And I was literally making decisions that were really non-survival. They weren't good decisions. I'm going to be James Bond. I'm going to be a playboy. I'm going to have all the money. I'm going to be the guy with the cars. And like, I'm literally as a kid making decisions because there was a void of a father in my life. Had my dad and my brother lived longer, I think I would have wanted to be more like them and less like the neighborhood drug dealer.
Yeah.
Because when the dad was gone, dude, like it was like, okay, I'll be Superman. Okay, I'll be Clark Kent. Okay, I'll be Batman. Okay, I'll be James Bond. Okay, I'll be the Godfather. I'll be Scarface. Oh, I'll be the drug dealer. Like, I didn't know what to be. I wanted to be something. And I'm coloring in the lines of my life, right? And, the statistics, we created a foundation, Grant Cardone Foundations for Kids Without Fathers, because the statistics of kids, good kids, by the way, these aren't like bad kids with bad moms or bad households. Kids without fathers, suicide rates spike, incarceration spikes, 12 times or something, drug addiction, like every grades in school, inability to finish high school, the every major statistic when there's a hero not in the household. And you could have a dad, I'm sure you could have a dad in the household that is unavailable, or you could have one there that is destructive, a bad guy, right? An evil person. So I'm not quite answering your question here, but I spent between the age of 15 and 25 on the dark side. I mean, I went dark. It was ugly. It was terrible. Like if you guys, you wouldn't even know who I am today. You'd be like, there's no way he was that guy and now he's this guy. And I rarely actually talk about it because it's not believable that anybody could have this kind of evolution.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, today I know the only superhero I want to be is me. I want to be an original superhero that inspires the everyday person, regardless of the color of your skin or your age. Like people, Like if you saw the demographic of the people that follow me, I'm a white 62-year-old dude. But if you saw the demographic, if you didn't see my face and saw the demographic of who followed me, you would think that I'm 30 years old. I've been on social media since the advent of the internet, and that I'm either Latino or black.
What I think is so crazy is I do know a lot of your story, right? And for 10 years, just like you said, I had the pleasure of watching over the last couple years of your evolution. But I would ask you, like, as you grew up without, it was almost a lack of, do you think that you turned to a different environment because of what you wanted your father to be there to do for you? Or do you think you turned to a different environment just because it felt like more people were leaving your life? Because I remember I watched your
Dude, I
brother.
just went to what was available.
Mm,
I went to what was available. I ate oatmeal because that's what was served to me. I ate Cheerios because that's what was in the cabinet. It was what's available. What is available? I'm going to eat whatever's available. It's how the food system works in our country. It's why McDonald's is so successful. It's on every street corner. It's not the best. It's the best located. It's a garbage product. We
no,
drank Coca-Cola because it was there. We ate sugar because it was cheap, you know? And the mentors, I took the mentors that were available.
you had an older brother, right, who
Yeah.
passed away at a young. So for you, I guess talk about what your mom, because there was a time where you said your mom saw you when you were at your deepest of dark and you were basically almost dead. And your mom said, I'm done with this, right? And she couldn't hold it any longer. Now for you, do you feel like that was a turning point for you? Like,
Oh, 100%. But before that, there was at least for 9 years, I made a decision every morning when I woke up. I'm not using drugs again. I'm going to change my life today. I made that decision every day for 9 years, unsuccessfully.
mm,
And then finally one day, my mom's like, I'm done. And she was really done. Like she was done. She was not negotiating anymore. Or she wasn't pleading or trying to threaten. She was done. It wasn't a bluff. And with her decision plus my previous 9 years every day of saying, today's the day, one day it's finally like, okay, I'm done. I went to a treatment center, got cleaned up with the drugs, and then came back and started putting my life together. My life did not turn around in the treatment center. My life turned around every day after that when I made a decision not to use again and to change my friends and start eliminating liabilities in my life. I had a lot of liabilities. Liabilities aren't just a financial thing. It's a people thing first.
huh. And the reason why I asked that, I think that's so powerful because you said for 9 years you were unsuccessful. So for somebody else that right now, maybe they're not doing drugs, but every single day they say they're going to get out of that job, they're going to get out of this abusive relationship, whatever it is, and it's for 2, 3, 5 years. What would you tell that person so they don't have to go through 9 years of this before they're almost dead, that they can actually make this decision tomorrow and actually go through with it? Is it just your environment?
Well, it's a couple things. I mean, I think I could be in a wrong environment. As long as I had enough discipline in that environment, I'd be fine. So number one, weekends make you weak.
Mm.
Uh, you can just look at all the trouble. Trouble starts on the weekends and after 10 o'clock. If you could be in bed by 9 and down, you're probably going to get in less trouble in your life, because the criminals and the out ethics and the crazy shit happens late at night and it happens on the weekends. So number one, if you don't do weekends, okay, all the cool people, they're just going to drop you off the list. Like they're not going to hang out with you. After 9 o'clock at night, nothing good is going to happen. I have not had in 60 years one fantastic thing happen to me after about 9 o'clock at night. I've never made some great connection or done some business deal late at night. Now, I guess if you're a rapper and if you're John Travolta or you're in the movie business or you're Kanye, that's when you're doing your deals. Maybe. I don't know. That's never been my reality, right? So the third thing is you have to clean up your environment. People worry about their credit card debt. I'm like, dude, don't worry about your credit card. Worry about the people you're hanging with. If they got debt, you're going to end up in debt. If they're doing drugs, you're going to use drugs. If they're cheating on their spouses or their girlfriends or boyfriends, you're going to end up cheating. Just a matter of time. I remember I got invited to Jamie Foxx's 50th birthday. I think it was his 50th birthday. And I said, oh, wow, that's awesome. I'd love to go. It was in Vegas. I'd love to go. And I said, what time is it? And they said 2:30. It starts at 2:30 a.m. I'm like, dude, I ain't going to that. I know what happens at 2:30 in the clubs.
Right.
And I'm a married man. Oh, Grant, you would never cheat on Elena. I said, bro, look, I was in Vegas. The party was in Vegas. I could have walked downstairs and gone to the deal. And I said, I'm not worried about cheating on Elena today. I'm worried about getting weak tomorrow. Mm. And so, like, you can't stay strong if you're exposed to being weak. The way to stay strong is to stay strong and don't be a ding dong. And, you know, I'm a human being, man. You open this with, you said you're blessed. We're all blessed. Everybody's blessed. I mean, even the evil people on this planet are blessed. It's like, what is everybody going to do with it? My job is to take my blessings and validate God that I am blessed. I want people to look at me and say, like, dude, that guy's blessed. That guy's got somebody gave this guy a bunch of something, and it's good. Because I know I'm blessed, and I think we're all blessed. I think all people, 7 billion people are blessed regardless of what God they believe in. The problem is most people are not validating their own blessedness by doing things that validate their blessings.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I want to definitely get into the new show that you had, which is Undercover Billionaire. There's so much to learn from there. I've watched a couple episodes, which has been phenomenal. But I think a great tie-in to this is you already talked about your environment. And I know for me, my environment's been so critical. And many people are seeing the association is how they'll become successful. The thing that I loved, and I heard you even say this, is what's funny is when you started out for the show, everybody thought that you were looking for cash. You weren't looking for cash. You were looking for contacts and opportunities. Talk about that.
Yeah, so the show that Casanova is referring to is called Undercover Billionaire. It's on Discovery Plus. And basically what happens is I get dropped off in a town. I change my name to Lewis Curtis. I have $100. Discovery Channel gives me $100, and I have no contacts. I can't call my bank. I can't call my credit facilities. I can't call my buddies. And by the way, I cannot use social media. I shaved my head so that I was not discoverable and grew my beard out. And I went into this town, didn't know what town I was going to go to. They dropped me off in Pueblo, Colorado. And I had 90 days. This is before COVID, 90 days to build $1 million business. My goal was to build a $10 million business, by the way. For those of you who are watching it, they cut the show. They cut the show for you to see. They follow three people. It's coming back out on TV in late March because they're recutting the show. But my goal was not to build $1 million business. My goal was to build a $10 million business in less than 90 days. So what Casanova is referring to is the first thing I did when I went to town was I took the $100 and dropped it off at the bank because I don't need any money. In this show, what I'm trying to show you, and this is a reality show. This is unproduced, no setups, no bullshit. Nobody's creating anything for me to happen. I got in constant arguments and fights with the channel because they're like, they want to do this and that. I'm like, stay out of my way. I'm going to show America you don't need money. You don't need time. You do need a strategy, though. So when I got off the plane in Pueblo, first thing I did was go on my phone and I looked for businesses that were for sale. I looked for where the nearest Wells Fargo was because I'd already set up a Wells Fargo account before I left. Wells Fargo is good everywhere in the country. So I knew wherever I was going, there'd be a Wells Fargo. I just picked a bank. I'm not a Wells Fargo guy, but I needed a checking account because I didn't want money. I don't want money. I don't want money. I want opportunity is what you're referencing.
Right.
So when I got off the plane, they said, what's the first 3 things you're going to do? I said, I'm going to the bank. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to go find a businesses for sale. I had about 5 hours before the sun went down. I dropped my $100 off at the bank. Second thing, I went to the health club and they're like, why are you going for a workout? Doesn't make any sense. First of all, why are you going to the bank to get rid of your money? You're going to need that money. I'm like, I don't need $100. If you think you need $100, if $100 is going to save your ass, you're already effed up. Because ain't no way some white dead guy with a receding headline that supposedly created electricity or whatever the guy did. This guy, if this guy's going to save your ass, you done. Look at him, man. There ain't no way that guy can save your ass. He's been dead too long. So I went and dropped the 100 off, and I went straight to a gym and I went and worked out. The reason I went to the gym was just what you said. I was looking for contacts, and gyms are an easy place to meet people because I can ask you for help easily. You need environments where it's easy to communicate. You and I can communicate in a podcast easily. The clubhouse, it's an easy place to communicate with people, right?
Right.
If you meet a guy on a street corner, he's smoking a cigarette. Even if you don't smoke cigarettes, it's easy to bum a cigarette from a dude because you got something in common. A gym, hey, can you give me a, what's it called, a spot?
Spot.
You know, can I spot you? Can I help you without being weird about it, right? So I went there to start making contacts. Interestingly enough, the first gym I go to, I end up 45 days later doing a deal with the guy that owned that gym, the first gym that I went to in Pueblo. The third thing I did was I went to a company that was for sale. It showed up in the for sale in Pueblo. It had actually sold about 9 months before, and the ad was still up for some reason. And, you know, I don't know if this is how God works or not. I just want to tell everybody I don't have an insight on that deal. I do know that this is how I work. I take little clues and I follow them in the universe. And if something was for sale 9 months ago or 9 days ago or today, I want to go there. Okay. It was an RV park. That's where I slept the first night, by the way. And that guy ended up helping me all around town. So I had a plan. That's what I'm telling people. You don't need time. You don't need money. You actually don't need contacts, but you do need a strategy.
Wow. And you do need opportunity, right? Somebody to give you an opportunity for something. For you, how you got him, how you got the relationship, what was the value in your mind that you was going to provide to him to be able to get a relationship from the guy that you met at the gym? What was the value that you had in your mind? How were you going to build?
I didn't know. All I knew was there's 112,000 people in Pueblo. So I did the research. When they told me we were landing in Pueblo, Colorado, I had never been there. So the first thing I do is I go on my phone. I had Wi-Fi. And so I'm like, hey, Pueblo, what is Pueblo? 112,000 people. Okay, good. I'm doing math.
Yeah.
I'm basically backing into the math, right? So I need to build a $10 million business. I have 90 days. And I start dividing 90 into 10 million. What do I got to do? How many contracts do I need to get? Like, people need to understand math. I don't mean adding and subtracting. I mean, how do I build something to hit my target in a short period of time? And I can't meet 112,000 people in 90 days. It's just not going to happen. I don't have enough time to do that. So what do? I'm like, who do I need to meet? Like, you hear me in the show saying, who's got my money? Who's got my money? Who's got my money? Who's got my $10 million business, right? So I basically get down to how many business owners are in Pueblo. Why business owners? They're qualified, they're able, and most of them are willing to do business because they're doing business. So this is what you said about the opportunity. I'm not looking for money. If you watch the other two ladies in the show, they follow 3 people, right? The other 2 women, no offense, everybody's got their own strategy. I have mine, they have theirs, okay? I know what I've built and I know what they've built. I'm not trading what I built for what the 2 of them have built. No offense, but I'm just not going to do it. They were looking for money in the beginning, and I was not looking. I never look for money. This is the problem. Americans are looking for money when you should be looking for opportunity and equity.
Right.
Because my first deal, I end up with 15% equity in my first deal that I get in Pueblo. And one of the other people got $15 an hour. I don't want $15 an hour. You keep your $15 an hour. You keep your $50 an hour. Keep your $500 an hour. I want equity in your company because that's how you can grow something. And when I grew up in a refinery town where people were proud, man, because they made $25 an hour, busting their knuckles. And I saw how they ended up. You know, they ended up at best old, tired, beat up, and maybe with a retirement plan. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that. I want to end up with equity.
And you've been on record for saying that in the beginning, right, the way that you were communicating, when you look back at it now, right, you think that maybe you could have communicated some things the right way, but as long as people who know you, know your heart, and I think that there's many of people out there that do, Do you think that environment, because of the fact that when you were trying to break out, you had such big dreams? And one of the things that I've always heard and said is the quickest way to kill a dream is to introduce it to a small mind. So, do you feel like because other people around you, they weren't receptive to your dream, that's what made you kind of lash out to say, you know what, I'm gonna get it come hell or high water? So then the way that you started to communicate was maybe not the way that you wanted to keep communicating, but after a while, you just evolved to understand that I don't need to compete or try to pitch my dream on them. I just need to be me.
You're going back. You're going. We're not in the show right now. We're in my life, right? So, look, I don't think that there's a way that you're not going to share your dreams with small people.
Mm.
And the reason I say that is because we're all small. We're all small. We all, I think even the biggest dreamer has their moments where they're small. I think there's probably exceptions to that, like Elon and these guys that do these unbelievable things, which I can't even fathom how they're doing it. These exceptions to the rule, right? The Gandhis, the Jesuses, the Martin Luther Kings. But I still think those guys privately have moments of small think. So I don't know that I could not have told people. I remember telling my mom, I'm going to build a real estate business. I was thinking about maybe 100 units. Today we have 9,000 units. It's $2.3 billion worth of real estate. My first deal was $78,000. Like now we don't even buy a deal. My average deal is probably $78 million. Like 78 million, not 78,000. I've been a small thinker the whole time. Like
What?
small
No.
until I'm small until I do something bigger. And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm still thinking small. And then I do it bigger. And then, it's the expansiveness of the universe, right? It's like, compare me to somebody and I'm just a tiny little nothing.
That's so crazy to hear you say that though, right? Because there's so many people that say, "Oh my, GC is the epitome of where I'm trying to get to." So to
Yeah,
hear
no,
you
but
say
I'm
that,
not.
and I
I'm
think
not.
that it comes with humility, which we all love, but it's so crazy because in a lot of people's eyes, you are the pioneer, you are that Superman. So to hear you say that you're not, I think we love it, but we see it differently.
Yeah. Well, because you're comparing me to your situation, right? So I'm comparing, this is the smallness, right? The smallness is I compare myself to what my dad did or where I grew up. This is what our upbringing is. We compare our current situation. I don't know how good well feels until I'm sick.
Mm, right? Facts.
I don't know. I don't know. Like I never imagined I'd have a jet. Like it's ridiculous. It's my life is ridiculous today. We just ordered a helicopter. I got a helicopter coming in 2 weeks, so I don't have to fly on my jet. Like the life I'm doing now is ridiculous. But I'll tell you what got me there. It wasn't the big thing. It was lots of work every day, paying the price, not going to the clubs, not doing the after 10 o'clocks, picking good people, staying away from people that overspend. People that overspend their money, that are buying Lamborghinis and they can't afford it. When you hang out with those people, you will become loose too.
Mm,
There's so many obvious red flags of criminality. Okay. Like, because if I hang with the criminals, I'm going to be a criminal. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to go to jail. I'm going to keep myself in jail. I'm going to trap myself in a jail of poverty or smallness that we're talking about. Right. Because if I don't feel good about what I'm doing, if I don't feel really, really good about what I'm doing, I am not going to do more of it in a bigger way.
right.
And so the better I can feel about what I'm doing, the more I can expand into doing things. And then one day I look up and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm doing the right things with my customer. I'm doing the right things with my business. I'm doing the right things with my employees. I'm doing the right thing online. And then money comes in. Then I'm doing the right things with my money and my family. And then I keep doing the right things. And the next thing you know, I'm like, shit, I'm going to buy a jet. I'm going to buy a helicopter. Maybe I'll get 2 of them. I'm going to do the biggest conference in the country I'm going to rent a stadium with 34,000 people in it. I'm going to do business with Usher and Mayweather and John Travolta. And like, dude, where I came from,
KH,
you don't
everybody.
do any of that stuff.
Right.
Like,
You said that the best thing about you is you being a spiritual being, right? Like that, but more than your kids, more than your everything. And I think your spirit shows every single day what is the thing that you do to keep, because when everybody else is looking at you to rah-rah them, right? Looking at you to pop into a clubhouse room and everybody's all great. What's the thing that you look to rah-rah you? Who's that person? What's that? What do you got to go? Nah, I got to
Yeah.
get back to it. What's that thing?
Well, I'll tell you, that thing for me is my church. I'm a Scientologist, and Scientology has helped me so much. It gets a bad rap by the media, by the fake news, CNN, the tabloids destroy it. But this is not a new thing, by the way. Like, I've heard people say that, oh, Scientologists don't believe in God. I've never met a Scientologist that didn't believe in God. You know, it's just a Christian can practice Scientology and still believe in Jesus, and a Muslim can believe in Allah. And it's not, hey, you got to believe in my God. So it's a very spiritual, very practical way for me to have a relationship with God as I understand God, and for me to find the God in me. You know, they asked Jesus who he was. He says, I am. And I'm like, dude, I like that.
Right.
He's not going to even say I am a name. He's like, I am. Like, the power of that is like, I'm not Grant. What he was saying was, I am not a name. I am more than a name. I am more than a body. I am. You finish. And,
Right.
and it's an infinite kind of expansion. So that thing for me, man, the where I get my juice from comes from my understanding of being ethical, my ability to communicate with the public. Like, I've done communication courses there that are like mind-boggling. If you've seen my kids on stage, my kids are 10 years old. They can write their own speeches and deliver them to 12,000 people without us telling them what to say. Like, that's them writing the speech, practicing it, and going out on stage. It's because they've done communication courses. And they've done Scientology communication courses. The way I manage money and multiply money was learned because of the management practices that are analytical, not emotional, and not based on faith, but based on what actually works in the physical universe. So the last thing I'll say about that is this, is that I believe that a person that is truly clear on their spirituality should manifest and be in control of the material universe. I should not have financial problems if I'm in alignment spiritually, because the spirit, there's no way the spirit does not run this little mouse.
Right.
Okay. The spiritual unit is much more powerful than anything physical, including a piece of paper that was printed by a press. It's garbage. And it's worth nothing compared to me as a spiritual unit. That's why on Undercover Billionaire, I'm like, hey guys, I don't need this. And by the way, your $1 million target, let's make it 10 million. And your 90 days, I don't need 90 days, make it 60. So because I'm in control of money, I'm in control of time, I'm in control of communication, and I'm in control of people. Not just me. I want to control others as well for the purpose of goodness and to make things better. So that's where I get a lot of my inspiration. And I also get it from other people doing well. Your story really inspires me.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. Talk to me about what the next, it's what, a couple years ago, I think you were on record and you said, my goal is to go global. Well, now, I mean, with the internet, I think that you've done that quite a bit, right? I don't know if anybody shot up as fast to, what do you probably have close to 500,000 followers on Clubhouse, right? And so I don't know if anybody has grown that fast. What is your goal now over these next 3 years? You had the show. You obviously have written books, New York Times bestseller. What is your goal now?
I just want to be Kanye.
What's Kanye got? I can't, it's not as clear.
No, sorry. That's my profile today on Clubhouse.
Oh, got it. How many followers are you at on Clubhouse?
Well, that's why I just checked. I don't have 500. I got 317,000 today. But I've been on that app for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks, and I've had so much fun with it. The thing I like about Clubhouse, man, is without me having to leave my home, okay, I can meet people, so many diverse, and it's so inclusive. I can go into rooms where I normally typically probably wouldn't be let in, or I wouldn't go there because I don't know about it, or I can't travel that far across town or whatever. Like, literally with the click of a button, boom, I can be in your room. And I have learned so much just being in there listening, so much about. I remember I walked into a room that was called White Entitlement, and I went into the room, and one of my employees texted me and said, "Dude, I don't know if you should be in there." And I'm like, "No, I need to be in here because I don't understand what it means. And the
Mm.
only way I'm going to learn what it means, if one number one, if I don't understand what it means, then I'm going to make a bunch of assumptions that aren't true. And number two, if I'm never willing to raise my hand and say, I don't know what this means, please explain to me what I don't know. Those moments for me on Clubhouse have been so rich. I don't know how I got that many followers that fast. I'll be honest. I like that's the biggest following I've ever gotten on any social platform, and I don't know how I did it. Um,
Cause you
I
got
don't.
the swag, you got the juice.
Yeah, I don't know how I did it, dude. But I know that I've really enjoyed, and I didn't go there trying to do that, but I've really enjoyed listening, learning, and participating.
I love it, man. Well, I know we're about to wrap this thing up. One last question, or I guess two, but the first thing is my phone blew up about 4 or 5 days ago. And I mean blew up. I probably got about 17 text messages in probably 30 minutes. There's something out there that you're thinking about getting into the real estate on the other side of things. You're thinking about getting some brokerage. Talk about that. What is that?
Yeah, dude, you
What
need to get on our team, bro.
I need to get on. What does it
You
look
need to
like?
get on our team. Here's the problem with real estate today. The real estate agent today, this is what I've never understood, and I bought a lot of real estate. I bought $3 billion worth of real estate in my life. And I've watched along the way all these real estate agents that I use to buy real estate and or sell real estate. If they would have been doing what I'm doing, dude, they wouldn't be selling real estate anymore.
Right. What are you doing? You mean like investing in the big apartment complexes or just
No, the problem with the real estate agent is you just get a commission. At some
right?
point, when you want to grow up in life, you have to get on the equity side. You've got to
Mm.
start getting equity. I'm working with a group right now. We're going to change the game for real estate agents. I'm going to build the biggest real estate platform in the United States of America in 2021. Okay. And when you sell something, number one, you get your commission. Okay. But you pay out less. Number two, you're going to get equity in the company.
Mm.
And number three, you're going to build a line of people. Everybody can become almost a broker without the brick, without the mortar, without the location, without all the wasted expenses of the house.
Yeah, but would you say that it's the future of real estate?
100% it is.
Got it. Cool. So, no, this is a phenomenal conversation. Again, I'm so excited to have this relationship with you, my brother, and to be able to communicate. I guess the last question that I have for you is talk to me about if there's somebody out there that is a dreamer. They're inspired by you. We know there's a lot of people that are inspired by you, but they have that little voice in their head and it says that they're not strong enough, they're not smart enough, or maybe they just don't have enough resources. What's that one thing that you would leave this person with to get them to just take action?
I would tell you to understand number one, all of us have that. Whatever is going on for you, you're not weak or defected, or there's nothing wrong with you. Everybody has it. I mean, I have it. Most of the people I talk to have it. And number two, I would tell you download the app Discovery Plus for $6. Watch what I do. No money, no time, no contacts, and watch the moves I make without giving you a lecture or an assignment. You're going to just get to follow me. This is the first time in my entire career. And one of the reasons I did Undercover Billionaire was because this was my opportunity to say, hey, I'm not going to give you a training or a lecture. Just watch my moves. And if you want to learn to dance, you got to watch somebody's moves. If you want to learn how to hit a baseball, you got to watch somebody's moves. If you want to watch how to spiral a football, you got to watch the moves, duplicate it, emulate it, copy it as close as possible, and you'll become that person. In business, no money. I have 90 days or less. I'm in a town where I know no one. I get sick 3 times. I get COVID. I get quarantined for 14 days. The entire country gets shut down. 40 million people lose their job while I'm doing this. Okay? The worst economic reset in the history of the United States in my lifetime. And I still, okay, when you watch what I do, you're going to be like, dude, I cannot believe what that guy created in 84 days.
Man, I love it. Well, we're excited to finish out the show. One curious thing, because you've had access through 10X, so many high level people, if you could have dinner with one person and you just got to ask them one question, who would it be and what would you ask them? Dead or alive?
Probably Jesus, man. I'd have to pick Jesus as my guy.
And what would you ask him?
I'd be like, dude, why one pair of sandals? You know? Okay. Why did you leave Nazareth? How hard was it convincing Mary, your mother, that you're leaving? See, I learned a lot from these guys, right? This guy, when I realized he left his home, I left my home.
Mm.
I was 29 years old before I realized. I'm like, bro, Jesus left. You got to leave home, bro.
You gotta leave.
Like, you got to leave. Like, if you got to walk, you got to walk. You know, when I heard King say that, look, if you can't run, then walk. And what can you do? Learn from the greats, man. These people that are exceptional human beings. These were humans, okay? These were humans that did extraordinary things. These are the heroes that we should be studying. And I can't fly, and I'm not faster than a speeding bullet. I can't jump buildings, and I wasn't born rich like Wayne was, a Batman guy. By the way, what was his superpower?
That's a good question. What was this superpower?
Batman? Shit,
Yeah.
dude, he was rich.
Right.
What was
Right.
his name? Wayne? What's Bruce Wayne?
Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
Dude, when I realized that Bruce Wayne's superpower was rich, I'm like, shit, he ain't got a superpower, dude. The motherfucker's rich. So I'm like, I'm going to get rich. By the way, it's easier to get rich than it is to learn how to fly.
Facts. Facts. Man, this has been a phenomenal conversation, my brother. If no one else has told you today, I want to be the first one to say thank you and I appreciate you. Remember, Dream Nation, just as he said, you have to take action on your dream. You have to get in the game, get off the sidelines, because otherwise that dream that you have will only merely be a fantasy. GC, I know that you probably don't need to say it, but if anybody wants to know where they can find you and stay in touch with you, where can they find you at?
Yeah, just Google my name, man. Google it. Safari. Do whatever you want to do, and then I'll find you.
Cool.
We got a big conference coming up, Casanova. I don't know if you know about this, but
Yeah.
on March 12th, we have a massive conference. Our conferences are typically 12,000 people, sold out. Everybody buys a seat. They're $2,500, $5,000, and $10,000 seats. You can't buy a seat because it's sold out. But if you guys want to watch, any of your fans or members want to watch it from their phone, if you go to grantcardone.com/free, grantcardone.com/free, I'll send you a link so you can watch the conference. You register. We're going to charge you $97 when you register, and then I'm going to immediately give you a $97 credit at my store. And you also get to be part of a 5-day coaching program with me and my team to make the most out of this 3-day event. This is 3 days. There's 7 hours a day, about 21 hours of content. Last year we had Usher, Kevin Hart, Dana White, Floyd Mayweather, John Travolta. This year we're having four different people that run billion-dollar companies that started from scratch. Promise you, it's a freaking mega list of superhero type individuals, men and women that have created multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar businesses from scratch. You'll learn a lot. So if your audience wants to take advantage of that, it's grantcardone.com/free.
/free. We'll make sure that we put all of those links in the show notes. And I've been to the last 3 10X conferences. I was at the one with John Travolta and Floyd Mayweather, so I can definitely vouch for it. Phenomenal. Yeah, it's super dope. So we're excited to be a part of that. And yeah, just thank you again, my brother.
Appreciate you, man.
If you've gotten anything out of this episode, do me a favor and head on over to iTunes if you have access and leave me a review. My whole goal is to make sure that I'm serving you all the right way. You're my tribe. You're who I care about. You're why I do this. So if you want to give me any type of thanks, or if you want to let me know whatever your thoughts or your feelings are from this episode or any other episode that you've listened to, leave me a rating or review. And also, if you're looking for more tips, strategies, and even resources when it comes to leveling up your real estate game, head on over to DreamNationAcademy.com. We have a really cool real estate section there, and it's something that I wish that I would have had when I first got started in real estate. So that's DreamNationAcademy.com. Don't wait. I'll see you on the other side.